Hey everyone, what's going on? It's the Beard Bro, and welcome back to another episode here on the Brewhaus. For this episode, I got to sit down with Jared Whitehead, a guy who has been in IT before. He's owned several businesses, he's moved around the country a lot, and now he actually owns and operates Track 94 Brewing up in Seneca, Missouri. I had the chance to stop by and visit with Jared this last week, and so there's way too much as you could expect to be packed in just one episode here. So you're gonna want to go up and visit these guys at Track 94, talk to Jared, hang out with them there because the space is really cool. It's a very train themed brewery right next to the tracks there in Seneca. Surprisingly, Track 94 is not the number of track that they sit next to, so you'll have to find out that in the episode. But here you go, and enjoy the conversation with Jared Whitehead. Thanks.
Live from the rolling hills of Northwest Arkansas, it's the show for beer lovers, beer makers, and most of all, beer drinkers. We're pouring up the best in beer podcasting, straight from the mouths of today's top brewers to your thirsty ears. Get ready to hear how they're pouring their heart and soul into making the best pint possible. This is the Brewhaus.
All right, well, welcome back to episode 5 here on the Brewhaus, and joining me today, I actually headed north just a little bit over to Seneca, Missouri, and man, I'm here with Jared, owner of Track 94 Brewing here in Seneca. So, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for making time for me today. I know we don't know each other, so I was joking around with him beforehand that this is the first episode that it's a cold episode here, man. So this is good.
I'm the guinea pig.
Yeah, so that's okay. You like being guinea pig, right? You like
Yeah.
trying new things. That's why you got in the brewing.
Actually, yeah.
So, but yeah. So where are we? Tell me a little bit about Let's start out with just the location of the brewery. Where is Track 94 located? I know I already said the city, but like, give me some context here.
Well, we're obviously right on the railroad tracks, just off Main Street a little ways, not too far. Basically, nothing around us besides houses. But if you come into town off Main Street, find the First Baptist Church and take a left out if you're coming out of Joplin, you'll run into us.
Okay, all right. We're gonna have a train coming by here. Speaking of Track 94, so you're probably gonna hear that in the
Our
background.
trains are $1 off beers, so if you're ever here, the lights will flash and you get $1 off. So.
Well, by golly, let's do it. So Track 94, you may hear it in the background. That's totally okay. So Track 94, that's just the track that's here? What's the...
No, that's a common theory, but so originally our name was going to be Trackside Brewing.
Okay.
We're beside the track. And there was some brewery in New York, I don't know where it was at this point, but they already had the name, so I thought, okay, what can I do? So I'm sitting around with my buddies drinking beer, and we all graduated in 1994, so we're like, Track 94 it is, so that's why we're here.
I like that. It's a little personal history plus a little local lore here, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So when did you get into brewing? And I'm guessing you homebrewed before? Is that...
Oh yeah, I started with the extract kits in my kitchen on the stove, so that was my exposure and grew from there, obviously.
Do you remember what your first beer was?
I actually still have the kit right there as a Belgian wit.
Very nice.
Yeah, and still have an actual bottle that's not been cracked open, but
He literally has the box here in the brewery, right here in the rafters. So that's pretty awesome, man. I don't think I can easily say that I don't have the same box that I brewed from my very first time, but I do still have the same kit. So I've got all the carboy and everything like that.
Right.
So yeah. Well, very cool. So what kind of beers do you specialize in here?
hopefully good tasting beers. We don't have a style. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not a Beard Engine, which I love, does more English style stuff.
Yeah.
So some breweries focus on that. If I get a hankering for whatever beer, we'll buckle down, try to find a good mixture of something we like versus putting our own twist on it and go from there. So there's not a style I would say I do. I like to try all new stuff. That's the excitement for me, is coming up with new recipes, new styles for other people because down here we're Busch Light and ultra drinkers.
Okay.
So we're trying to expose people to more craft, more styles,
Yeah.
different kinds. So
I know that's kind of an interesting thing for a craft brewery to do, is to try and I've seen it done very well a few times, that like trying to make it more traditional style lagers and the corn forward lagers, things like that. Do you do that here at some?
Well, I mean, like I said, we've got our 6 beers that we keep on tap all the time, just kind of a variety.
Yeah.
And then just depending on what I've drank out other places lately, we'll say, hey, let's make a Kolsch or let's make a whatever because I enjoyed it somewhere else. So let's see what we can do with it. So
That's awesome.
like I said, don't really have a set style. We just kind of go with whatever we feel like drinking at the time and
Absolutely.
exposing people to that. So
Well, they say you make the beers you like, right? Like
Right.
that's if you're not going to enjoy it yourself, probably nobody else will either. So that's
Yep.
all right.
And that's what some people hate certain beers you make, but I'm like, you know what? I liked it, but I may hate another beer you love. So then that's the fun of it, is getting people to try new things, whether they love it, hate it,
Yeah.
whatever. It's fun to experience.
Very cool. Well, so we're here. How big is this place that we're in right now? Like, how big is the brewery?
Well, the whole building's probably 900 square feet, roughly. So
Okay.
Not well. We added on a room already, so it may be 1,000 at this point.
Okay. All
But
right.
it's pretty small. So.
And what's your brewing capacity at? Like, what do you guys? What's your?
We're a 1 barrel system, and then we have 6 fermenters. So we've got a backlog a lot of times, but we
Yeah.
try to make it work with the space we've got. So
That's really cool. So tell me about your history. You said you started out in home brewing, but then what's your profession? Did you always grow up saying, "Hey, I want to do a brewery," or kind of
No,
where'd you come from?
I've done lots of things. I was in IT for years with Whole Foods Market, traveled the country doing that. I owned a cell phone repair store. We've owned a gym. I've owned a Subway. I've owned a Simple Simon's Pizza. We've been all over the place. But wife and I just got to traveling when I was just tinkering with making my own beer and trying out different breweries and different microbrews throughout the country. I'm like, man, I like this. I need to do this. So we got into all grain, and then I got kicked out of the house because it was too big and too messy. So we went to a brewing in our pool house, and I really just the more we traveled and got into it, I just realized that, man, I like doing this. This is fun. It's something creative you can do. I can't draw or do anything else like that creative. So I might, maybe this is my creative side. But so yeah, we just got into that, got to doing more and more. And I drove my wife absolutely crazy every time we'd go somewhere. I'd tell her, I think I could do this. My beer is this good, or I could brew this beer or whatever. And finally she told me to shut up and go do it. So here we are.
You got to actually make moves, right? That's you can talk about it for a while, but after a while, it's like, hey, let's make this happen.
Yep.
Very cool. So where'd the dream start for this specific location? I mean,
It didn't. I mean, we looked for buildings in Joplin. We looked for buildings all over, and you always have those excuses when you don't want to commit to something. It's too big, too small, too expensive, too whatever. And so this was a karate studio that my kid was going to. It was just this one room, and he would do karate here. And the guy wanted a bigger karate studio. I had a building downtown, Seneca, so we did some swapping. And then one of the times my wife told me to either do it or shut up, I was like, but I don't have a building. She says, yes, you do. It's right down there. Go put it in that building. So yeah, we didn't plan this. This was a junk storage building for us.
oh wow,
We do flip houses. And so we kept tools and just junk in here. And she said, go do it there. So here we are.
hey, I tell you what, man. I mean, wife sounds like a smart lady.
She just gets tired of my complaining, I think.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
So, so you said the very first beer you did was the Belgian Wit. Now, was that the first one that you brewed here then professionally? Like, did you try to kind of recreate that, or what was the one you made here?
No, actually, my wife is a hophead. So
Okay.
with all her influence, IPAs got to be pretty popular in my brewing rotation. So actually, the first one we brewed was for her. It was called Track 94 IPA. It got our name since it was our first one. So
Okay.
that's kind of our first beer.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And you still have that one on
It's
tap?
still here.
So
Yeah, if I
that's
got
a
rid
good
of it, I'd be in trouble.
I bet, man. That's name it after her, and that's a way to
Right.
make sure that she wants you to keep it around forever.
That's right.
So now you start out with you. Do you employ people? Do you have friends, family that come around? What's
Well,
that
to
look like?
get this place going, I had lots of friends that pitched in. I mean, couldn't have done it without friends and family
Yeah.
helping out. But we do have a assistant brewer slash bartender slash dishwasher slash, when you're in a small brewery, you do everything. So him and I kind of do all the work throughout the week. We've got another lady that comes in on the weekends to help bartend. And then we just opened a kitchen. So my wife, again, pushed for the kitchen. So she actually is taking over and in her spare time, which she doesn't have much, but she comes in on Fridays or Saturdays and helps cook in the kitchen. So
Very cool. What kind of food?
Typical bar food. We got wings, we've got clubs, burgers, chicken sandwiches, pizzas, just a little bit of everything to, again, try to catch whoever's eating to have something they could, get and enjoy. So,
So now you said you had actually gone. You've done quite a few different things over life. You've owned
yeah.
several different businesses. You said you worked at Whole Foods Market. You worked at IT. What was kind of the thing? Did that come to an end by choice or by force? Was that
Oh, just life decisions,
yeah?
So yeah, I was with Whole Foods for like 10 years and moved back home because of kids and school and family, so
Were you located? You were located elsewhere. You said you moved back here.
yeah, so I started with them in Philadelphia, moved outside Miami, Florida with them, moved to Dallas, moved to Austin, and then back home. So
What would you say? Is there anything that you learned in that time that you brought directly into this? It's just like maybe it's a work ethic thing. Maybe it's a
I think the biggest thing would be, especially in Austin. I mean, you got to be open to new things.
yeah.
It's kind of a crazy town. It's a great town. Loved it. But if you're not open to new things and new experiences, then it's not for you. So really, the traveling, you got to be flexible. You got to be open to new cultures, new styles. I think that's what I brought here the most. It just, and like I said, we don't focus on one thing. We try to be flexible and do different types and styles of beer and just have fun. So.
Were there any hard lessons you learned along the way before coming into brewing? That what would you say would be something that stood out to you? It was just like, hey, maybe you tried something and it didn't work out the way you initially thought.
You hear it all the time. It's just, something doesn't work out. You just got to get back up and try again. You can't stay there and pout or dwell or anything like that. Just get up,
Yeah.
dust off, head out. Just like, beer doesn't work out, dump it down the sink, go on. You can't
Yep.
sit there for forever and dwell on it. So that's probably the biggest lesson. We've had lots of businesses. Some worked, some didn't.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest lesson. Just get back up and keep going.
Let's talk about the decor in here and stuff. You got tap handles everywhere. You got it's pretty much just I would imagine just things that you like or what's
Yeah, so you're basically looking at my man cave when I was brewing at home. So I just collected every time we go to a brewery, I'd grab a tap handle, or if we were at a flea market, I'd find an old tap handle I liked. Or you can't see now, but on the back side of the wall, there's all kinds of glasses from different breweries and koozies or whatever. So
yeah.
it would just, when we traveled, I grabbed stuff that I liked and put it in my brew room, and that was kind of my inspiration. Maybe I liked a beer from whoever, so I'd grab something of theirs to remind me, hey, down the road, let's look at brewing something like these guys or
Yeah.
something. So yeah, that's the inspiration. I mean, it's just, and of course, train theme figured in a lot. We wanted to kind of tie that in with our name and our location, so we got a lot of train stuff going on. But
Is there one thing in here that you would say is just kind of like one of your pride points of like, hey, this item came from a certain place or from was given to you by a certain person that you're just like, man, this is just super cool. I mean, I'm seeing signed helmets over here. I'm seeing
yeah, I mean, we've got a Seneca wall. I mean, that stuff's pretty special. We were born and raised here for most of my life. I was gone, but our Seneca wall definitely stands out. Some of the decors from like 1898 and 1899. So, and then a lot of it just ties back into the group of guys I grew up with. We all graduated in '94. There's about 8 of us that we still see each other very often. We talk about every day. So just a lot of the '94 stuff was just kind of tied in as cool to me personally. Maybe not anybody else, but so.
Well, I think that's really cool, especially you keep talking the '94, going back to the roots, going back to what made you who you are today, and that group of friends that you said you talk daily, right? Or you talk near daily at least, and I think that's, especially in today's world, that's something that a lot of people don't have. And
Right.
so what would you say has been a really cool thing for you coming out of keeping those contacts, keeping those friendships? I mean,
The support is the big thing. I mean, that's, when you got some guys that got your back and can support you, and, they had a lot of support in this thing here. So, just knowing that you got somebody that you can fall back on, or that you can ask for help or confide in, whatever it is. So, I told you this story about kind of how we got into this, and we just launched a website last week, track94brewery.com, but, that story's on there. It was something we made a Shutterfly book, just to share the experience of opening this place. It's got a story, and it shows all the pictures of us building this thing. So if anybody wants to see the raw pictures of what this looked like before, it's on there. We have a blog going. So we also list anything going on. I know we do live music Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Friday nights, we do game nights. All those events are listed on the website. You can go on and check it out. food trucks we try to bring in if they'll show up.
Well, I was gonna say you got a really nice patio space out here too. So when did you guys add that on? I would imagine, or
Well, we started with the patio because one of the things I really wanted, because we take our kids to the brewery with us. This is a very kid friendly brewery. Some nights you may have more kids than you've got adults, in here, but that's what we love. We would take our kids. That's where my kid played Battleship the first time, where we just sit down. You can put the electronics down. You can relax with your family.
Yep.
Have a good time. So we added the patio. We had cornhole and all the games outside for the kids to be able to play and enjoy, and the adults. Got a big area out there. So we just covered it recently, trying to help if it's raining, we can still be outside in the spring and fall. So
living in the time we're living in, you can't really go without talking about the last couple of years. I mean, what were some of the shifts that you saw, positive, negative, or just kind of learning experiences that you saw over the last couple of years?
Well, we just opened. It'll be a year next weekend. It'll be 1 year for us. So we missed a lot of the COVID stuff. We never did the mandates, the max, any of that kind of stuff. We kind of missed the majority of it. But we took that time as actually how I got the place done, because everything slowed down in the world, and I was able to spend more focus on getting this place ready and going. So I mean, we're respectful of anybody that wants to wear a mask. They were welcome to. You just again, you fall back to be flexible.
Yeah.
Let people be themselves and respect what they want to do. So, if you want to wear a mask, wear one. But we missed the majority of it and just never had to deal with a lot of that. But
I'm excited to see where we're headed now. What's kind of the future of this place look like? Are you staying here for a while? I would imagine.
Yeah, we need to. We just put that roof on, so we've got to pay that off. But
yeah.
No, I mean, we're planning on staying here. Our biggest challenge where we're at is parking. So we've got to figure that out. It's probably our next step, is figure out where can we park all these cars on the weekend.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's just making more good beer.
Yeah.
We're just wanting to expose more people in the area. There's still people in Seneca that don't know we're here.
Yeah.
So the challenges for us is just getting the word of mouth out, finding some place to park them when they do show up. And we just want to provide a good entertainment for Seneca. There's nothing to do in Seneca unless you want to go to the casino. So
okay. Hey, that's just up the road. I saw it on my way.
It is. It's not too far away. But if that's not your scene, we're trying to put some entertainment out there, some live music, some games, some family time, family fun. We back to school bashes. We have bounce houses for kids. We do axe throwing nights. We do all kinds of stuff to try to get the community involved, give them something to do.
Yeah.
It's been neat to watch people that live 2 houses away from each other that didn't know each other. Now they come here and they talk. They get to know their neighbors. They've really grown relationships in town that they wouldn't have done if we hadn't been here. So that's been neat to watch too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's been a big finding of mine during doing any beer podcasting is the community that it brings, not only as a service, but as a gathering place. I mean, the pubs in the old times, I know, were where stories were shared and where heritage was passed down and culture was really solidified. So I think it's really cool to see hear you talk about neighbors who didn't know each other at all, and now they'll come here and share a pint whenever they want to.
Yeah, it's been great to see those relationships build, and we've built a lot. I mean, we got people that come down every single weekend, from Joplin or wherever, and we've got to know their kids, and they've got to know our kids, and it's been a good experience.
Yeah. What would you say? Do you know where the furthest away that people have come from just to visit y'all?
We've had a few from overseas. I can't even tell you where they were. I don't remember at this point, but we have people about every weekend coming up, either from Northwest Arkansas. We have Chicago people. We've had people from the Northeast. We've all over. They'll just be traveling through for some reason and pull up Untapped or pull up Google or whatever and find us and veer off of 249 coming out of Arkansas or off I-44 coming through and swing down and check us out. So it's been great. We've met a lot of interesting people. No
doubt. And what's their response, especially those coming in from significantly out of the area? What's been their response to your beers here? I mean, I would imagine they're probably pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Everybody's been real positive. Like we said earlier, there's always going to be some people that don't like certain beers, whatever. But the overall reaction's been positive. They are quick to compliment, and they'll also give you your critiques, especially those beer guys from Untapped, that like to record everything. So it's interesting to see their comments or see everybody's different. So see what they taste in your beer, what they pick up, what other people don't. So It's been real positive.
Has there been anything that came out of those reviews or the conversations in the critiques that you go, hey, actually, that's a really good idea. I should probably incorporate that, or maybe I should take a second look at that.
Most of the time it's like, oh yeah, that would be cool. Let's make a different beer
Okay.
with make that one of our rotators, or why don't we, they really liked the coffee in that they picked up. There's no coffee in it, but it's a whatever, but let's make a coffee beer, or let's make a whatever. So really we'll pick up on their comments, and then, maybe we'll tweak something, not normally because it's, our 6 are pretty set recipes. So, but we'll spin off of what their comments are and go with a new rotator or come up with a new beer or something. So,
See, I think that's really cool because, then it gives you the opportunity to say, hey, we're listening.
Right.
We're not going to change our staples, but
Right.
what we're going to do is we're going to listen, we're going to grow. So that's
Yeah.
really neat. Is there a beer on tap right now that you're kind of just really excited for, as far as maybe either one that's on tap now or that's coming out that you're like, I'm excited to see how this one turns out?
well, one of our newest we're bringing out for Cinco de Mayo. We're going to do there's a guy out of, I think his company's called Johnny O's out of Grove, Oklahoma. He makes hot sauces.
Okay.
So we paired up with him to make a Chipotle habanero chocolate stout. So I'm
Nice.
excited to see how that comes out. How to blend those. We've not done a hot pepper beer before, so
Yeah.
it could be one we dump down the sink. It could be one that we really like. But I'm excited. That's what excites me, is the new stuff I've never done before. So
Yeah.
we've also got a beer coming out that it's made with Tootsie Rolls, which sounds odd, but we've tried it once and it was really good.
Okay.
Just on a small batch, we didn't put it out, and so we're gonna brew that up and try it out. But those weird concoctions that was inspired by the leftover Halloween candy. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
so everybody was like, "Man, you got a lot of Tootsie Rolls." I was like, "Yeah, what could I do with those?" I was like, "Make a beer."
Make a beer. Let's
They're
do
not
it.
the same Tootsie Rolls we're using in the beer, but we did buy fresh ones. But yeah, so that's the fun part, is just inspired by whatever. But that habanero Chipotle beers
Yeah.
has got my attention going. So
Well, and the cool thing is, you mentioned dumping it, but if it turns out too peppery, then you can just make it a challenge beer.
Right,
You can
right.
just make it like, hey, can you handle it? And then
when I say dump, we put some of our mistakes out that we think are mistakes.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm bringing one next week's our 1 year anniversary, and I'm bringing back a beer we called Pink Lady. Long story behind the name, but anyway, we kind of didn't like it. It was
Yeah.
a mistake. One of our first challenges. We had it when we opened, and it was like, I needed to fill the taps. Let's put it out there. See, it was a raspberry wheat.
Okay.
I had brewed with way too much chamomile, and didn't mean to be raspberry. It was going to be just a wheat beer, and we're like, man, I just don't like that. But somebody may, and I had some friends that drank it and tried it. Like, yeah, I don't mind that. So we put it out, and actually, it's such a big hit that people want us to bring it back for our 1 year anniversary. We're bringing back a lot of the first beers, and so here, so you never know. Like you said, we'll put it out there. If people don't like it,
Yep.
we'll take it off eventually. But some people may find it's their favorite beer ever. You never know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you have a lot of different variety and palates today because of all the breweries that are out there. Microbreweries, small, some of the larger craft breweries are getting into some crazy flavors. So
Yeah.
I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you just never know what people will enjoy.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm seeing behind the bar, I'm seeing a big wall of mugs. Now, are those for sale, or is there like a mug club here?
No, that's
or-
our mug club. Yeah, we started that when we opened up. We have 50-ish. We've had to expand because we made some mistakes. But anyway, about 50, 52 mugs.
Okay.
Yeah, it renews in January, and you get
Yearly fee?
you get yearly fees.
Okay.
Yeah, you get 20 ounces of beer when normally you would get 16, same price type stuff. Discounts, free mug at the end of the year. You get your mug, shirt, free beers throughout the years. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing.
So is there? You said so. This will be your second year going into it now. So you got, how many people did you start out with?
We started with just the 50 people.
50. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then each year, each mug will be different colors. So like the blue mugs are 1 year members. The brownish mugs are your second year members.
Gotcha.
Next year's will be announced shortly, I hope.
There's a lot of second years up there. That's good.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that renewed. Of course, you always get those that, oh yeah, I want to do that, and then they move away or whatever. We had some of that happen. So, but yeah, it's been fun.
Let's talk about a beer that maybe didn't work out for you so well. Was there one that that stands out to you as just like, oh, yeah, that one's laughable?
Well, There was. I don't. We didn't even have a name for it, and it didn't make it out to the rack.
Okay,
so
it doesn't need a name.
No,
it just needs to go
we
away.
don't even
right?
go that far. Yeah, yeah. So it got dumped. It got dumped fairly soon. I can't even remember what the. I can't even remember what the style was, but there was a couple. There's been a couple that we've tasted, and when it was done, I was like, yeah, that just didn't come together right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's okay. I mean, that's the joys of experimenting, trying the new
And
things.
the benefit of having a small system, you're not wasting that much. You know, if we were on a 5 or 7 barrel system, that's a lot of money to wash down the drain. But you know, at 1 barrel, we can take some risk and dump them when they don't work. Sometimes.
Hear that occasionally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Have you done? You mentioned you're doing the collaboration with the hot sauce company. Have you done any collaborations with other breweries in the area yet? Or
No, we've not. You know, that would be fun. It'd be exciting to do, but we've not stepped out there and done that yet.
Yeah.
So.
if there was one brewery, it doesn't have to even be local, but national, international, or just down the street. What brewery is? Let's talk first, I guess. What's one that you look up to as someone who you think is really making it well and just crushing it with their beers?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Yeah, right.
There's some good ones right here in our area. I mean, Beard Engine does a fabulous job. I like to go up and see those guys. My wife would want me to do Odell.
Yeah.
Our favorite beers out of there. She would like me to be inspired and take some lessons from them, I'm sure. But that's a hard question with all the local guys. One of my favorite memories, and I don't even know a lot about this brewery, I just enjoyed, was Smutty Nose up in the Northeast. We hit that on one of our trips up to Maine and New Hampshire area, and I don't know why, but it stuck with me. They had a great selection of beers. They had a great little location, and so that might be exciting. Something that was one of the first ones that piqued my interest in doing this would. So yeah, maybe Smutty Nose Brewing.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, see, I haven't experienced them, so I need to check them out for sure.
Yeah, not very big unless they've grown. Like I said, I don't really keep up with them. They stick in my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the experience, and that's what it's all about. Is making an enjoyable experience for your guest and leaving that hunger or taste or want to come back to them. So,
well, stick around here. We're gonna wrap up this half really quick, cut to commercial really quick, and then we'll be right back with more from Jared here at Track 94. So we'll talk to you soon. Hey y'all, it's the Beard Bros. So if you're listening to the Brewhaus, it's easy to say you probably love podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Well, have you ever considered starting your own podcast?
Huh?
If you have, maybe you're worried about how to get started. You're probably thinking you have to have a bunch of expensive recording equipment, editing software, a website, and a whole lot more, right? Wrong. Buzzsprout makes it super easy to start your own podcast, and right now you'll even get a $20 Amazon gift card just for signing up for one of their paid plans through the link in our show note in this episode. Not only does Buzzsprout make it super easy to start recording with just your smartphone, their extremely supportive team also has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at the right price when you're finally ready to upgrade. Buzzsprout also makes it super easy to get your podcast listed in every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Pandora, Spotify, and more. Pretty cool, right?
Wow.
Also with your paid plan, you'll get a great-looking podcast website, customizable audio players that you can drop into other websites, and one of my personal favorite parts, because I'm kind of nerdy like that, you get access to detailed analytics so you can see just how many people are listening to your podcast and how they're listening to it, and you get marketing tools to help promote your podcast too.
Perfect.
So what are you waiting for? Use the link in our show notes today and join the more than 100,000 podcasters that have already joined Buzzsprout and see how easy it can be. Cheers, friends.
You're listening to the Brewhaus, the podcast for beer lovers of all types. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to episode 5 now of the Brewhaus, and glad to have you with us because joining me today is Jared from Track 94 up here in Seneca, Missouri. And now comes the fun part of the show where he has no idea what's coming next because, well, honestly, neither do I. We're going to ask some fun random questions here and just kind of ask, these are going to be rapid fire. You can talk as long about them as you want, short about them as you want. All right, so.
all right.
So what, and you can think current events, you can think the brewery, anything that comes to mind. What are you currently curious about?
Oh well. I've been digging into axe throwing.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe axe throwing.
Yeah. Is there like I would imagine there's definitely got to be a technique. I've never done it yet, but I've thrown hatchets out in the woods and stuff like that.
I'm sure there's a technique. I've not mastered that yet.
All right. That's all right. That's all right. What would you say is your most treasured possession?
Is it cheesy to say family? I mean,
Yeah, you got that. You got that.
yeah, and family and friends. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll throw that out there.
That's absolutely. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
That it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So try new things. Get up. Keep going.
I think that's one of the biggest things. I think I mentioned a while ago that I was been reading more, and just you got to fail. You got to fail, but every time you fail, you got to keep learning and keep moving forward on that. So, what would you say are the top 3 skills that you need to be successful in the world of brewing?
Good work ethics are going to help you a lot. Flexibility, which we've talked about a few times, and just a sense of adventure.
Yeah.
You've got to enjoy it, or it's just going to be work.
Yeah, absolutely. See if you could receive. Ooh, this is a good one. It's a good one. You ready for this one?
Maybe.
You could receive an unrestricted, unlimited grant to complete one project. What would that project be?
That's easy for me. I would move off-site to a new location.
Okay.
We have problems with the railroad company right now, so yeah.
Gotcha.
Can't say too much because of legal problems.
Yeah, I would imagine you would have challenges being this close to the tracks.
Yeah, just find us a bigger building so we're not so cramped some nights.
Yeah,
that'd be the easy one for me to say.
And your parking issues, and
like parking issues.
So
right.
You're talking about that one. So we've covered some ground on the basic part of get to know you, because I want people to come here and actually learn who you are and actually get to know you. Sit down across the bar here and have your own conversations too. Speaking of the bar actually has got bottle caps all put in there. Now, I'm assuming did you make that?
We did, and we did our best to drink all those beers that had the caps on them, but we didn't quite make it. We had some friends help out, and then I had a friend up in Seattle who mailed us a bunch of caps from up that direction. So I would say it's probably 75% us. We got to the point making it that we'd walk into the beer stores. I don't care what the beer is, find a good cap.
Yep.
So it was a fun project. But
it's funny how that project, how that view kind of shifts a little bit. Like, okay, it needs to be unique. It needs to be a different cap. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we built most of it. And it was fun to do all these projects. So
absolutely. And during the break a while ago, we stepped over. There's a wall over here. It's actually the big bay door that opens up, and they've actually got stickers out there. What are the stickers on there? I mean, tell folks about that.
Yeah, so customers bring in stickers anywhere they've been. We're always curious about new places out there, so that's our inspiration board. But they can stick their sticker up of what they enjoyed or found in their travels, and then my wife and I have our own personal board where we stick ones we've actually been to on. So it's fun to see where people go and about breweries you've never heard of before. So
yeah. So if you've got a brewery sticker that you think would be unique, bring it by here.
That's right.
So, well, very cool. Thanks so much for taking some time to sit down with me here. It's been great getting to know you, getting to chat a little bit about you. I might have to go get me a pint here in a little bit. So you guys stick around, make sure and check out, what was the website again?
It's just track94brewery.com.
Perfect. And can they buy the shirts on there?
No, we don't have any merch online. You gotta come here and drink a beer, and we'll talk shirts.
All right, show up, and then they'll talk. We got merch over here. They got some killer hats too, so enjoy. All right, we'll catch y'all next time here on the Brewhaus. Thanks so much for being around, and we'll see you next episode. Cheers. Hey, thanks again for listening to this episode of the Brewhaus. I really appreciate you being here, and I want to give you the recognition that you so richly deserve for being a follower. So do me a quick favor, leave us a review here on whatever platform you're listening on right now, and at the end of each new episode, I'll be reading 1 or 2 of my favorites, so you might be able to hear your own review read soon. Thanks again. Cheers, friends.
You've been listening to The Brewhaus, a production of Remnant Media. Be sure to subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or your other favorite podcasting platform so you don't miss another great episode. Thirsty for even more? Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok.